Hey guys, it's Scott here from Horse Racing Daily, and tonight I'm going to go over what I think is a predicted pace scenario for the Preakness. And I've heard a lot of people, offer their, opinions on how it's going to go, but I just want to throw mine out there. And I do think the Preakness is going to be a very fast-paced race. It's not going to be that same, 112.5 like the, Kentucky Derby was. I still can't believe they let Max Security get away with that, 2 races in a row. But I look for always Monty. You see where he ran his best races. He's been, up and on the lead. And, the last race they tried something different. And he started, 4 lengths, back at the first call. Came up, got on terms at the second call. Um, I think you'll see him anywhere from right on the lead to, maybe, just a length off of it. Just depends who else, goes. I think Centeno is going to, send them at the beginning just to get, good position because you don't want to, take away the horse's ability. He has a lot of, tactical speed, so you're going to see that being used. Another twist of fate, I think you're going to see him up and on the lead too. He picked up Jose Ortiz, who's an aggressive jockey. And you see when he ran his, best races, he was, on the lead. Then they tried taking him, off in the Sunland Derby. He couldn't catch, Cutting Humor. They tried taking him back again, and he couldn't catch, Owendale in the Lexington. It says, boxed in, but if you go back and watch the race, he that they shouldn't even put those comments right there because it didn't, really affect the outcome of the race. And I think Bodie Express, is going to be, just a couple lengths off the lead. That's typically where he's been taken up, his last, couple races. In that 7 furlong sprint, he is a little bit further back. But that might have to do with, the pace being generally quicker for, sprints than routes. So I think you'll see him, 2 to 3 lengths, off the pace. Then you got Bourbon War, and, yeah, he picked up the addition of blinkers, but I think that's more to, keep him focused because, he always makes that nice looking run at the end, but, you know, you kind of get the feeling they wait too long, or he waits too long before he makes his run. So I think the blinkers is designed to, you know, get him up in the race, be, a couple lengths ahead, or, start making the move on his own before the jockey has to get after him. And, Improbable. I've heard a lot of people say that Improbable is going to be on the lead. But if you go to any of his races, he's never, raced on the lead. And, yeah, he picks up Mike Smith, who's, one of the best at riding, speed horses that there is. But Improbable just doesn't quite have that same speed, as, some of the, previous Baffert horses. Like when he ran the Street Sense, he was started off that, very fast pace, was able to, come up and win. Same with the Low South Futurity, Mucho Gusto set that pace. So he's never really been, exactly right up, on it. He's been more of a stalker, type. So I expect him, to maintain the same position. He might be just a length or so more, forward. I do think Mike Smith's going to try to get him in the race a little bit, sooner. But he's not going to be outright on the lead. Laughing Fox. You can just kind of tell what this horse is, by his past performance. He's a classic, one-run closer. He has a good chance, I think, to sneak up and get, third or fourth in the race. But he's going to take, his customary spot, at the back of the pack and come with his, one run. I don't see him changing up the tactics, especially since, the pace should be fast. And, he has shown he can do decent, coming from off the pace. Market King, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Bodie Express. But I think you'll see him, take up just a, couple of lengths off the pace. He does have the one race at the 6 furlong where he, was the speed, but other than that, he's always been just off of it. So I look for him to be, just off of it. Owendale, I look for him to, sit, maybe mid-pack to, closer range. That's how he's ran his best races. He started out, beginning of the year, up on the pace. got second in the 50,000 optional claimer, got first in the 50,000 optional claimer. And then you see, in the Risen Star and then Lexington, they took him back a little bit more. He came with his run. So I think you'll see, more of that. Signal Man, I look to be, more mid-pack. They had him really, close up to that fast pace in the bluegrass, and I think that's why he flattened out at the end. But you see, typically, he's coming from the back of the pack. So, I look for that to happen again. War Will, he always sits about a length or two off of it. I think he's going to be, the same. He's going to be on the outside sitting off. And, he might not be a bad play. I think he's a horse that doesn't like being down on the rail. I think he likes, being on the outside. Because if you look at the LeCompte and Risen Star, that's, he ran his two best races, on Stalking from the outside. So, I think he could, do it again. And if you like him, you got that going for him. But he's not going to be outright on the lead. He's just going to be a length or two, off on the outside. Warriors Charge, they paid 150 grand to put him in this race. I fully expect, him to, go to the front. I don't think now's the time to be, changing tactics with that much money, at stake. And then you got win. And I look for him to do what he done in the, Tampa and Bluegrass, come from the back of the pack and make his run. He's never really had the tactical speed since, his first couple races. They've taken him back with just one run, so you can expect that again. But, that's my take on the pace scenario, guys. I look for it to be a, very fast pace. Maybe run the, quarter in like 22 and 4, the half and, like 45 and 2. But, that's my take on it. Thanks, guys, for watching.